Jong Un, a young leader with many enemies and a nuclear arsenal. Very little was known of the man when he was first introduced to the world in 2010 as heir apparent. A year later, he was in charge. Partly educated in the West, some even dared to hope that he would start to open up one of the world's most isolated countries. But then came the missiles, the nuclear tests, the purges. His rule is brutal, executions are common. He even had his uncle killed and branded a traitor in state media. On his watch there have been 4 nuclear tests, dozens of missile tests. He's a leader in a hurry to get to his stated goal of being able to hit mainland United States with a nuclear-tipped missile, or at least convincing his adversaries that he is able to. No amount of international sanctions, of offers of dialogue, even threats of war have managed to pacify Kim's approach. Engaging in a war of words with US President Donald Trump, Kim has called Trump mentally deranged, a rogue, a gangster. Trump has called Kim a madman, even dubbing him Rocket Man.
Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself.
Kim Jong Un has a wife and 3 children, according to South Korea's intelligence agency. He also has a liking for basketball, as proven by his rather unlikely friendship with former NBA star Dennis Rodman. And in public, he is often all smiles, pressing the flesh with his people. The North Korean propaganda machine heralding Kim Jong Un as a godlike leader, as it did with his father and his grandfather, the 3rd generation of a dictatorial regime. North Korea's leader turns a year older Monday. He is young, but he's also ambitious and brutal. Kim Jong Un has gone further and faster than his predecessors by accelerating North Korea's nuclear missile program, far outpacing his father Kim Jong-il and his grandfather Kim Il-sung. In the last year alone, North Korea fired 23 rockets during 16 tests. The most recent one in November flew higher and further than any others, an achievement that Kim boasted about during his recent New Year's address.
The entire United States is within range of our nuclear weapons, and a nuclear button is always on my desk.
The rapid advancement of North Korea's missile program has rattled world leaders, most notably US President Donald Trump.
The United States has great strength and patience, but if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself and for his regime.
Kim himself joined in the war of words with the US by calling Trump a mentally deranged dotard, an insult that sent many people around the world scrambling for the dictionary. Kim Jong Un is used to operating in the shadows of world approval. The UN Security Council recently tightened sanctions on North Korea for its nuclear weapons program. And in 2014, a UN Commission of Inquiry found North Korea's leadership guilty of crimes against humanity, a claim which Pyongyang denies. Within his own country, Kim is feared and trusts only a select few. He's famous for his tactic of purging senior officials, having ousted dozens since he took power, including his own uncle. And Kim's half-brother Kim Jong-nam was mysteriously murdered in the Kuala Lumpur airport after 2 women wiped his face with a VX nerve agent. The women have both pleaded not guilty. Both Malaysia and South Korea believe North Korea to be behind the assassination, though North Korea denies anything to do with his death. It's unknown how the ruthless leader of a rogue nation marks a birthday, and whether or not the official talks with South Korea, which begin the day after, will lead to a year of dialogue or more deadlock. Paula Hancock's CNN Seoul.
After a successful missile launch, they're always in the picture, sharing hugs, smiles, and cigarettes with their vicious boss. 3 officials whose body language and behavior toward Kim Jong Un are different from the other North Korean elites nearby, who genuflect in fear.
Kim Jong Un has guaranteed their job security, and that is what their body language is indicative of. They can feel comfortable enough with Kim Jong Un to deliver bad news.
CNN is told rival intelligence agencies are watching these 3 men carefully. Kim Jong-sik, Ri Pyong-chol, and Jang Chang-ha are supernovas in Kim's inner circle, the men behind the missile tests.
At some point, they are going to put together North Korea's intercontinental ballistic missile.
A missile that will eventually have the range to carry a nuclear warhead to the U.S. mainland.
Kim Jong-un is keeping these technocrats right by his side. so that he can be in direct contact with them and urge them to move fast. It reflects his urgency about missile development.
Of the three men, experts say, Ri Pyong-chol, a former Air Force general, has the most important role.
He's the one that provides Kim Jong Un with the situational awareness. He's the eyes and ears for Kim Jong Un in the development and research of nuclear weapons and conventional weapons.
Analyst Michael Madden is consulted by intelligence agencies on North Korean leaders. He says Kim Jong-sik is an accomplished rocket scientist. It's believed these three men are held in such high esteem they get to rub elbows with the supreme leader like no one else.
They do get to travel in Jong-un's jet. They do get to travel in his cars, which is something, a privilege that's not been extended to other core leaders. In terms of their lives in Pyongyang, they live in an exclusive apartment housing.
Analysts say it's possible rival intelligence agencies could target the three men for assassination, similar to how 4 Iranian nuclear scientists were assassinated a few years ago.
They could be targeted through a drone strike. The other option is essentially finding someone within the North Korean government who does not like Un, who is disenfranchised and still has access to the activities, that is to say that they have access to the leadership activities, who could be an assassin.
Times over the last few years, and every time you come here you hear that tensions between the U.S. and North Korea are high, but I have to say that this is the most tense that I have seen it during any time that I've visited the country. Whenever I come here, I always get a sense that there are two very different worlds. There's the world inside North Korea and the world outside. Inside, everything in this society revolves around the North Korean leader Kim Jong Un, and before him, his father and grandfather. This is a society that is built up around its leadership. They hold their leaders up to the highest possible esteem. And that's very much in contrast with the view from the outside world that North Korea is erratic, unpredictable, and moving on a dangerous path as they continue to nuclearize. In some ways, Pyongyang resembles many other cities. It has an increasingly modern skyline. North Korean leader Kim Jong Un has made it one of his initiatives to build more skyscrapers and public amenities in the city. In other ways, though, it's radically different. You hear music playing on loudspeakers throughout the city all day, in the morning to wake people up, in the evening to put them to bed at night. There is patriotic music. People are marching. They're practicing for these huge mass celebrations that they often do for national holidays or to celebrate the achievements of their leader. And of course, North Korea is one of the only places in the world where no matter who you ask, at least publicly, you will never hear political dissent. Everybody will say that they are 100% behind their supreme leader. But given that Kim Jong Un has absolute